Call Haloim Yahweh, Bahasham, Hamashiach Yahushai, Bahasham Kakudash. Shalom. This is your fellow servant Tazawar from the GMS Orlando camp, here with another lesson. First, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham Kakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, whom rule well, and from whom we learn the truth. Shalom to Akim, who are not in GMS, but are pushed in likewise doctrine, in spirit and in truth, with all sincerity. To you few sisters that are listening and learning, as well as you speckled birds who are scattered among the nations, looking like those nations, to the 144,000 elect men, and the rest of the hopeful elect, to you I say, Shalom. Not quite sure what I'm going to title this video, this entry yet. However, it is a extension or land back on the previous upload. Right? So the previous upload, I was going into how we are scattered among all nations. And this is not a color thing. And I went into the scriptures and I showed how throughout our captivities, and as well as various various plagues that the Lord had placed in the land, we had went into other countries or other lands, and we sojourned there. Right? I use Ruth, or the book of Ruth, as an example, and that was just, Ruth is one family in that time period, is what I've mentioned. But there were many families that went into the land of Moab at the time, seeking to escape famine, right? So anyway, I went into that, and I spoke on how the seed, determines your nationality, and that we left children in all these different land masses, all these other places. Speaking on a speckled bird. And those lessons, that was a 2-part lesson. That was an admonishment, and I had requested, right, or petition that any Akim or brothers that by the strength and power of Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, who stumble upon that lesson, if it's set well with their spirit, that they put out a lesson reinforcing or backing what I was bringing out as far as us having residues of our people in all nations, okay? Because as you know, the time is coming where our adversaries will begin to slander us. All right. And the scriptures say that these things will happen. So there's nothing we can really do to prevent the slander. But as far as building a case, right, and making it clear that we don't push, quote unquote, black Hebrew Israelites. That is a nomer that is given to us that we do not embrace. by our counterparts and adversaries. All right, the Edomites. This is why we often say, you so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and you so-called Native Americans. And then we mention the speckled birds, much as I have done in the opening of every video, right? Where I give a shalom and a sincere, salutation to the speckled birds who are scattered in those lands. Okay? Now, the reason I stated, if the Spirit moves you to put a video out, is just to increase. Now, we know Esau shadow bans and he does all type of shit with the algorithm, right? Because he's the fucking devil. But, and he's wiped videos from our elders and apostles from many years ago. But if brothers get on that, the hope, and this is me speaking as a man, the hope is that enough evidence is put out, to where it will pretty much indict them. They will indict themselves as being unjust and unrighteous, which their works will do that in itself. So before I get to rambling, because y'all know how I get, right? This video is going into the other topic, right? Knowing that these devils are trying to link us to Islam, okay? The Islamic faith in these people. Well, they already have us classified as what they say BEI, Black Extremist Identity Group or whatever. Right? Oh, and I want to bid you devils, if you're listening in on this video or anything like that, I want to bid you a sincere fuck you. All right. And that's me speaking as a man. Anyhow, Salakia, Akim, and Akwath. But we make no leagues with these people, man. All right? We don't want any part of their system, their deals, their ideology. And we don't subscribe to unify with any other ideology, any other doctrine. Okay? We don't rock with the Christians. We don't rock with Islam. We don't rock with the Nuwabians. We don't rock with the 5%ers. We don't rock with none of them. We don't even rock with other Israelite groups if their doctrine is off. So if you're not coming in the volume of the book, thus saith the Lord, in sincerity, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, then a sincere fuck you to you too. All right, and we don't care what you identify as. Making it known. All right, yeah, we separatists. We separatists among all those things. It don't matter about your skin tone. It don't matter. Because organizations like IUIC, right, who openly say that they're Israelites, but you have a Christian doctrine and then you register yourself as Muslim, you're trimming your ways to seek love. And you're seeking to build yourself in a kingdom that's not yours. You're not a sovereign people, and this place is bound to fall. Not thus saith Tazawar, not thus saith me, thus saith the Lord. It's prophecy. All right. And if you're going against the scriptures like Sakari or anybody else, we want no parts of you, man. You are not our ally. So all of this brotherhood over doctrine or unity over doctrine, fuck that. And fuck you. You know? Part of me wants to be like, part of me is what's the word I'm looking for? Moved to say Salakia, right? But the other part of me don't want to say Salakia because that's what it is. So if you can't accept that message, then click off the video. This one ain't for you. All right? But we don't make any leagues with any other ideologies, any other philosophies, man. So without that, I'm going to get out my feelings and I'm going to get to the scripts. This is Matthew, the 6th chapter, the 24th verse. Y'all know where I'm going. And I'm going to start at the 23. Matthew 24. You know what? Matthew 6. Salakia, I fat fingered that. This is Matthew 6. And '24. Khan. And it reads, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. Right? Now, when you get this in the NLT, at the bottom of the verse, it says you cannot serve both God and money. And we know that mammon, right, is the Babylonian deity or the Babylonian god of riches. Okay? So you can't serve Yahweh and mammon. And understand something. Many of the gods from old are worshipped here in the good old US of A. Lady Liberty. All right? Land of the free. Home of the brave. Which the scriptures call and identify as Mystery Babylon, the daughter of Babylon. So it's no wonder that the gods followed, that the gods of ancient Babylon and Egypt followed to this place, along with Greek deities. Because the Grecians had their rendition of gods that they worshiped for monetary gain. Okay? And these guys, IUIC, who I mentioned, and I explained to you how their organizational rundown is. They're 501c3, meaning that they're sanctioned by the government and they get those tax breaks, the same tax breaks that the Christians get, who teach a particular, I'll say it this way, they refrain from teaching the truth or particular parts of the scriptures. Okay? Well, now we see Sakari, they get in the bag. This guy who left Sakari, what's his name? Deacon Hakar, right? The high yellow one. And then the other bobblehead, bald head one that always got the cap on, making songs and shit. Deacon, whatever his name is. Uh, whatever. And even Alazar, the head guy, Sakari. Going on these debate shows and these podcasts, trying to mix the scriptures with a worldly view. All right? Feeding your own belly, man. The scriptures say, buy the truth and sell it not. What does that mean? If you claim to be students of the word, you know exactly what that means. Because freely have you given, freely have you received, freely shall you give. You making merchandise of your people, man. That's wicked. So y'all are serving mammon. But the other point I wanted to make is no man can serve two masters. So you can't, listen, just like these guys at UIC, you can't have yourself identified as a Islamic group or registered as a Muslim group or whatever, and then call yourself Israelites. That's off. It's double-minded. It's double-minded. And when you really get down to the nuts and bolts of the thing, it's no wonder why your doctrine strays from what you were taught. Because the master that you serving is dangling that carrot on the stick in front of you, man. Meaning you're not free. You're no better than these gatekeeping celebrities that sell their soul for a check, that put on dresses for the sake of comedy, pushing abominable imagery to our people. It's all for the sake of what they would call the almighty dollar. For them fucking FRNs, man, that you can wipe your ass with, because they're going to be worth nothing very soon. Federal Reserve Note, FRN. Okay? But you can't serve two masters, man. And this is why we don't deal with that brotherhood over breakdown garbage. Because the scriptures say you have to worship Yahweh in spirit and in truth. And understand that every doctrine, every ideology in the earth has a spirit attached to it. Every single one. To put it plain to you, let's do a contrast like this. When you consider what they call you're like the liberal, the hyper liberal feminists, right? They have a certain spirit on them. And then when you look at your ultra conservative Republican, or they have a different spirit on them. Now, neither one has the truth, but those are two spirits that are contrary to one another. And they're both from the devil. Okay? But every doctrine has a spirit. That's my point. Every philosophy, every ideology comes with a spirit, man. All right. So I'm going to read this again. Matthew 6:24. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. Right? From there, let's go to 2 Corinthians. Let's jump to 2 Corinthians, 6th chapter, and around the 14th verse. And it reads, Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? And what concord hath Hamashiach with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? Right? And we know them Muslims, so-called, love calling people infidels. Right? Which is a unbeliever. That word infidel go into infidelity. So that word infidel go into infidelity. Right? Verse 15 again. And what concord hath Hamashiach with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel or non-believer? And what agreement hath the temple of Yahweh with idols? For ye are the temple of the living power. As Yahweh hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, their power, and they shall be my people. Wherefore, come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Lord Yahweh, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. Well, what's the unclean thing? The unclean thing goes into that wine. All right, when you go to the when you get to the book of Revelations, it talk about the cup that the harlot had, right? The harlot that was riding on the beast, that was full of wine, that had the whole world drunk, right? But that wine go into the philosophies. Because what does being drunk mean? Not having all your faculties, not being aware, not being sober. This is why the scriptures tell us, the believers, to be ye sober. All right? Because that wine is used to lead people astray, man. Alcohol make you feel good, get you a little buzz, a little high. You know what I'm saying? But it also reduces your ability to critically think. It reduces your ability for effective decision making. It reduces your overall awareness and being circumspect. Right? So these things are strong wine, man. Those are the unclean things, the philosophies. But that's just the beginning, because then you go into those philosophies, lead you down a road of what? Customs and physical acts that you act out in the flesh, man. Those thoughts become flesh. You play them out in your flesh. This is why it says, wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate. You separate mentally first. You separate mentally first. I'm going to say that again, a third time. You separate mentally first. This is why the scriptures tell you that the word is what baptize you, man. The washing and renewing of your spirit through the word. Okay? You have to be brainwashed in righteousness. Learn the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the Heavenly Father, man, and his son. And when you have those, when you understand that and you have the ideology, you're always going to clash with modern times, with Western thought, because this is an ancient Eastern book and philosophy, an ancient Eastern outlook. Verse 17 again, wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate. So as I said, you separate mentally first. And what else do the scriptures tell us? The kingdom of heaven is in you, right? Meaning it starts in your mind first. The kingdom of heaven begins with our mind. And when we receive the kingdom, right? When we receive our incorruptible bodies, right? What the Christians call your glorified body. When we receive those heavenly bodies, man, this is why the word will be written in our hearts. We will literally be programmed. Now that word heart goes into mind. I'm not going to get all this stuff, but there's lessons on these that you can scroll through, and you've heard brothers go over these things many times before. That word mind in the Hebrew is lab. All right. I mean, that word heart in the Hebrew is lab, and that means your mind, your mental, your seat of thought. Okay. So come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. All right. Now from there, let's go to Ecclesiastes, I believe, 12. Let me see these last two. I'm going to try to get expeditiously because I've been kind of rambling. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and 10. Yeah, 12 and 10. And it reads, the preacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words of truth. All right, of truth. The words of the wise are as golds, and as nails fastened by the masters of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd. Right? And further, by these, my son, be admonished. Right? Be admonished. Of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. Okay? Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God, fear Yahweh, and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. All right, I'm going to read this in the NLT. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 10 in the NLT, the New Living Translation, right side of the page. And it reads, the teacher sought to find just the right words to express truths clearly. The words of the wise are like cattle prods, painful but helpful. Their collected sayings are like a nail studded like a nail-studded stick with which a shepherd drives the sheep. But my child, let me give you some further advice. Be careful, for writing books is endless, and much study wears you out. That's the whole story. Here now is my final conclusion. Fear God and obey his commands, for this is everyone's duty. Right? I like how the KJV reads better. Right? It says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. This is verse 13. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. And that is, man. That's our whole duty. Okay, now, of course, we can't get it all 100% right on this side. But you do whatever measure that the Lord puts on you, you do that to the best of your ability. All right? And there may be times where you have to make concessions, and utilize grace. The Elder Yashawamba went into that a while ago. Might have been a year or two or more, to where Salakia. To where he was saying, use grace when necessary. Don't be over righteous. But also, there's a balance because you can't willfully sin either. Okay? I'm going to read verse 12 again because this was the point. This is Ecclesiastes 12:12, and it reads, and further, by these, my son, be admonished. Of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. All right? So this is why we have our scriptures, our heritage, our laws are all contained in the Holy Scriptures, man. Anything that you think you need is in there, in the Holy Scriptures. The world history is in there. Law on how to govern a country and people are in there. How to govern your household. How to make money is in there. All right, how you should deal with your neighbors, people of your nations, how you should deal with the other nations. Prophecy is all contained in there. Cognitive dissonance that's coming, right? The plagues and the famines that's coming. Everything you need to know, we have compiled in the body of works, in the body of work that people call the Bible. So I brought this up to say we have no need for the Quran or the Talmud or the Egyptian Book of the Dead or the 48 Laws of Power, whatever it is. The tablets, the Code of Hammurabi, whatever tablets or high knowledge these people think they have, Buddhism, Hinduism, Zoroastrianism, all right? You just want to be agnostic. Listen, all of that shit is the wide path, okay? Stick to the narrow path. So there's no need for you to go searching for all of these other books and studying all these other books, because everything I just expressed to you is in one book called the Bible. No other book has all of these things. No other book has history, prophecy, future prophecies that were written aforetime that you're currently living out to validate the book that you know is real and true, along with everything else, all the other laws that I mentioned, how to govern a people, a nation, your house, everything, man. Literally. This is why you see people bug out, right? They go crazy. They lose their mind. They have a mental break. That's the bottom of verse 12. And much study is a weariness of the flesh. It wears you out. You go crazy. And you have to realize that our current situation, Esau always going to throw something in your face to make you question the scriptures. He used the scriptures for what he can use them for, pushing you stating to you, oh, the Bible, but pushing you Christian dogma and philosophy and ideology, which is not found in the Bible. Ain't no blonde hair, blue eyed, stringy head Jesus in the Bible. There's no rapture in the Bible. There's no place under the earth with a little red man and a pitchfork that people go and burn for all eternity in the Bible. Even without the little red man and the pitchfork, there's no place under the earth that all souls go to where they burn forever, for eternity. How can you say in one breath that the Lord is just and righteous and he forgives, but you make a mistake in imperfect flesh, knowing that he made you imperfect, and he gonna make you suffer and pay forever? That don't even make sense, man. It wasn't no dude, no angel up in the heavens who was in charge of the choir, had the organ going or the piano or the saxophone or the string, whatever he was playing, that lost his spot and turned into some scaly beast because he wanted to be the Lord and take the place of God. That's not in the scriptures. This is why you have to study so you can get the full understanding. Because Esau gives you pieces of scripture, isolated scripture, and then a narrative behind one or two scriptures. There's the entire dialogue bullshit. Those who worship must worship in spirit and in truth. And the Bible does not contradict itself. All right, still rambling. I'm gonna grab this last verse. I'm gonna read this one more time, and then I'm gonna grab the last verse. This is Ecclesiastes 12 and 10. The preacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words of truth. The words of the wise are as golds, and as nails fastened by the masters of assembly, which are given from one shepherd. And further, by these, my son, be admonished. Of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Right? I'm going to grab one more. I'm going to grab two more. This is Amos 3:3. And it reads, this is very simple. It says, can two walk together except they be agreed? And the answer to that is no. Right? And from there, we're going to hit Isaiah 34. And 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord, Yahweh, and read. No one of these shall fail. No one of what? No one of these prophecies, right, shall fail. None shall want her mate. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. Right? That's cold to go with Ecclesiastes 12 and 12. Right? Oh, 12 and 13. It says, let us hear, Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. And then we pull Isaiah 34 and 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate. That means you can't pair these scriptures or this book with any other ideology, any other philosophy. All right. For my mouth it hath commanded. Whose mouth? The Lord, man. And his spirit it hath gathered them. That's pretty plain. All right. Damn, I'm at 42 minutes. Anyway, I'm going to shut it down. With that, I think that proves the point. I pray this lesson finds you well. I pray that it was edifying. Until next time, Shalom. Wa abad babal. Shalak matah babal.